The tranquil void of space was abruptly shattered by the emergence of a colossal fleet at the edge of the solar system. Scores of sleek, predatory vessels materialized from hyperspace, their metallic hulls glinting under the faint light of the distant sun. The armada moved with disciplined precision, fanning out into a tactical formation that had subdued countless worlds across 3 star systems. On the command bridge of the flagship, Supreme Commander Vadir stood with arms crossed behind his back, his 6 eyes scanning tactical displays with grim satisfaction. His towering frame cast a long shadow across the polished floor as subordinates scurried about, preparing for what they assumed would be a routine disciplinary action against yet another primitive planet. "There it is," Vadir declared, gesturing toward the small blue world displayed on the main view screen. Terra, known to its inhabitants as Earth. Intelligence Chief Saraxa stepped forward, her lithe figure betraying the concern etched in her posture. "Supreme Commander, I must reiterate my reservations about our intelligence. Our data on human military capabilities is incomplete. Further reconnaissance might be prudent." Vadir dismissed her with a sharp wave. "Your caution verges on cowardice, Saraxa. Observe their technological level. They've barely ventured beyond their own system. Their most advanced weapons rely on chemical propellants and rudimentary nuclear fusion. They lag centuries behind us. But intercepted transmissions suggest—" "Suggest what?" Vadir interrupted. "That they possess some hidden defense system. Every species boasts such claims when facing superior might." He pointed to a holographic display of Earth's orbital defenses. "Look at their primitive orbital installations. They're ripe for conquest, or, as Command prefers, disciplinary action." Saraxa lowered her gaze respectfully, though doubt lingered. Something about the humans unsettled her. They were quiet in interstellar diplomacy, projecting modest technological progress, yet their communications occasionally hinted at capabilities far beyond their apparent development. "Prepare warning shots," Vadir ordered. "Target uninhabited regions to showcase our power, then broadcast our demand for surrender across all their channels." As the alien fleet advanced toward Earth, Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Donovan monitored their approach from her command post aboard Orbital Defense Platform Alpha. At 42, with 15 years of military space service, she had anticipated a career of training drills and minor asteroid skirmishes. Now she faced an alien invasion. "How many ships?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, her systems and electronic warfare specialist, analyzed the radar data. 73 vessels detected, Colonel, of varying sizes. The flagship is enormous, nearly 2 kilometers long. "And our status?" Linda Vu, the weapons specialist, replied without glancing up from her console. "All defensive drones are primed and positioned. Energy trap systems are online. Sentinel platforms remain in stealth mode, passively scanning as ordered." Donovan nodded, inhaling deeply. Her unit, the 5th Orbital Response Team, was modest by Earth standards, a forward observation and initial response team designed for minor threats and intelligence gathering. Now they confronted an armada. Her comm system chimed, and General Hayes's stern face appeared on screen. "Colonel Donovan, I presume you're tracking the situation." "Yes, sir. They'll be within firing range of Earth in 30 minutes. You understand your role in this engagement, Colonel?" Donovan nodded. "A strategic scout unit, first line of defense but not the last." "Exactly. Delay them. Gather as much intelligence as possible on their weapons, tactics, and communications, but don't reveal our full capabilities. You're the scout in this chess game, valuable, but not our queen." "Understood, sir. The rest of the defensive grid is mobilizing, but we need time. Your unit's performance will shape our strategy." The transmission ended, leaving Donovan to grapple with the weight of her responsibility. She turned to her team of 12 specialists, the sole barrier between humanity and the initial wave of alien aggression. "They're moving," Reed announced. "Energy spikes detected across multiple vessels." Moments later, brilliant plasma beams lanced toward Earth, striking deserts, mountains, and oceans, deliberately uninhabited areas chosen to demonstrate power. Then, human communication networks worldwide were hijacked by an alien broadcast. Supreme Commander Vadir's imposing figure appeared on screens globally, his speech translated into flawless English. "People of Earth, we are the Crassid Imperium, rulers of the Orion Spur. Your world has been observed and found lacking. Your government's petty conflicts and military posturing have drawn our ire. Surrender your military assets and accept our rule, or face annihilation. You have 1 Earth hour to comply." In the Pentagon's underground command center, world leaders convened in an emergency session. The U.S. President's expression was grim as he addressed the group. "We've prepared for this scenario for decades. Protocol Thermopylae is now active." The leaders nodded solemnly. One inquired, "And Colonel Donovan's unit?" "They're scouts," the president replied. "Let's hope they can buy us the time we need." In orbit, Donovan watched the alien fleet draw closer, dispersing to dominate Earth's strategic points. "They're positioning for a planetary assault," Vu noted. "Their dispersal pattern suggests they'll target military bases first, then communication hubs." "Then let's give them something to consider," Donovan replied. "Reed, deploy the first wave of defensive drones with standard evasion patterns. Vu, prepare energy traps along their likely approach vectors." "They'll see those as primitive compared to what they expect," Reed cautioned. "That's the plan," Donovan said with a tight smile. "We're not showing our full hand yet." The first skirmish of Earth's defense began quietly. Small, seemingly basic drones emerged from concealed orbital positions. To alien sensors, they appeared as lightly armed units with limited maneuverability. Vadir scoffed at the sight of Earth's initial response. "Is this their defense? These toys?" He gestured to his weapons officer. "Destroy them swiftly and proceed with the invasion." The alien ships fired, expecting to obliterate the drones. Many were destroyed, but a surprising number dodged the initial barrage with unexpected agility. Then the drones counterattacked. What seemed like simple projectiles suddenly shifted frequencies, piercing shields calibrated for more advanced assaults. 3 smaller Crassid vessels reported shield failures. "What's happening?" Vadir demanded. "Their weapons. They're adapting," a tactical officer reported, stunned. "Their targeting systems shift frequencies faster than our defenses can adjust. Their technology shouldn't allow such rapid battlefield adaptations." Soraxa analyzed the data at a terminal. "Our intelligence was flawed, Commander. These human weapons display sophistication beyond their expected level." "A minor setback," Vadir growled. "Launch the ground invasion. Target their major military installations. Let's see how they handle a direct assault." On Earth's surface, panic erupted as alien landing craft breached the atmosphere, targeting military bases worldwide. News broadcasts showed massive walkers and hovering platforms deploying, unleashing devastating laser fire. Tank divisions were incinerated, fighter jets swatted from the skies. Conventional bases, formidable just hours earlier, were reduced to ruins. Yet a pattern emerged. The aliens struck only publicly known installations, obvious targets accessible via open sources. Earth's true defenses remained untouched. From her orbital post, Donovan monitored the situation. "They're taking the bait," she said quietly. "Reed, how's our data collection?" "We've captured extensive telemetry on their weapons, shield harmonics, and communication protocols," Reed reported. "Adaptive algorithms are analyzing patterns." "Good. Vu, prepare the second wave of drones. Let's show them something more intriguing." As the aliens celebrated their apparent victories over human forces, a new threat emerged. From hidden silos, underwater bases, and camouflaged mountain fortresses, swarms of agile combat drones launched. Unlike the orbital units, these were numerous and decentralized, attacking from thousands of locations simultaneously. On the Crassid flagship, alarms blared as reports flooded in of ground forces under attack. "What's happening?" Vadir demanded. "Our ground units report coordinated assaults from small automated units," an officer replied. "They're emerging from concealed positions worldwide, far more than our intelligence indicated." Saraxa studied the data with growing alarm. "These aren't simple drones, Commander. They exhibit tactical coordination and learning capabilities, exploiting our vulnerabilities in real time." "How is this possible?" Vadir snapped. "Their technological level may have been deliberately understated," Saraxa replied, "or we misjudged what we observed." On Earth, the alien forces faced a transformed battlefield. What began as easy conquests became thousands of small engagements against elusive enemies refusing to mass for easy targeting. A ground commander's transmission reached the flagship. "They're everywhere, small units striking and retreating before we can respond. Our heavy weapons can't track them fast enough." Vadir slammed his fist on the console. "Escalate. Begin orbital bombardment of their major cities. Force their defenses to reveal themselves by threatening their population centers." As the order was issued, several Crassid ships repositioned for strikes on New York, London, Beijing, and other cities. But in orbit, the Sentinel stations, previously dormant to alien sensors, activated. Powerful microwave emitters swiveled and fired, targeting the aliens' communication arrays. Several ships lost command and control systems. "We're being jammed," a communications officer shouted. "Multiple frequencies. They're disrupting our coordination with ground forces." Meanwhile, Donovan led a small team in space suits toward a Crassid supply vessel isolated from the fleet. Using maneuvering packs that rendered them nearly invisible against space's backdrop, they approached the ship's airlock. "Reed, are you into their systems?" Donovan asked via secure comms. "Almost there, Colonel. Their cybersecurity is advanced but predictable. I've created a back door, airlock cycling now." The team entered, swiftly securing the control center. The skeleton crew was quickly subdued. "Access their command database," Donovan ordered as Reed interfaced with the alien system. "Download everything on their fleet deployment and weaknesses." "On it," Reed replied. "Here's something interesting. Tactical assessments of our resistance. They think they're fighting our main force. They don't realize we're just scouts." Donovan's grim smile widened. "Let's ensure that intel reaches command." On Earth, alien ground forces faced relentless resistance. What seemed an easy conquest became a costly quagmire. Commanders reported losses to ambushes, electronic warfare turning their systems against them, and defenses adapting to their tactics with unnerving speed. In orbit, more Crassid ships succumbed to Sentinel station emissions. Vadir watched in fury as his invasion's advantage eroded. "How is this happening?" he roared. "These humans should be pleading for mercy." Saraxa approached cautiously. "Commander, the human resistance suggests a concerning pattern. Their defenses are distributed and layered, hallmarks of a military prepared for invasion scenarios. Are you suggesting they anticipated us?" "Not necessarily, but they may have designed their defenses for alien contact." She hesitated. "There's another possibility. What if we're not facing their main force?" Vadir turned sharply. "Explain." The resistance pattern, small distributed units using hit-and-run tactics, limited orbital assets focused on intelligence and disruption rather than direct combat. These are scout force tactics. Vadir's voice grew quiet with dawning realization. Forward units meant to delay and gather intel while the main force prepares. Saraxa nodded. If these are merely scouts, where is their main fleet? The answer came as space rippled around the moon's dark side. From perfect stealth emerged Earth's true defense fleet. Dozens of massive warships, concealed by technology the Crassid hadn't believed humans possessed. Angular and utilitarian, lacking the Crassid vessel's elegance, they radiated undeniable power. Leading them was the UESS Thermopylae, Earth's first interstellar carrier and flagship of the United Earth Space Navy. On its bridge stood Admiral Joanna Beck, her silver-streaked hair in a severe bun, her uniform bearing the stars of Earth's unified command. She studied the tactical display showing the Crassid fleet caught between her forces and Earth's orbital defenses. "Status report," she demanded. "All ships ready, Admiral," her XO replied. "Weapons hot, shields at maximum. Colonel Donovan's team has transmitted detailed data on enemy capabilities and weaknesses." "Excellent. Open a channel to the alien flagship." On the Crassid flagship, Vadir stared in disbelief at the human fleet. "Impossible," he whispered. "How did we not detect them?" "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet," a communications officer reported. "Put it through," Vadir ordered, his voice taut with rage. Admiral Beck's face appeared on the view screen. "This is Admiral Joanna Beck of the United Earth Space Navy. Your forces have committed acts of aggression against Earth. You have two options: immediate withdrawal or total defeat." Vadir regained his composure. "You bluff well, human, but your ships, impressive as this reveal is, cannot match the Crassid Imperium's technology. We've conquered worlds far beyond yours." "Perhaps," Beck replied calmly, "but you've been fighting a single scout unit for hours, and they've significantly degraded your capabilities. Imagine what our main fleet will do." "Scout unit?" Vadir repeated, shock evident. "Colonel Donovan's team is a forward scout unit for first contact, intelligence, and delaying tactics, not designed for prolonged combat against a superior force. Yet they've held their own admirably." As if on cue, Donovan's team disabled the shields on the infiltrated supply ship, triggering explosions along its hull. "We can continue this demonstration," Beck said, "or you can acknowledge your intelligence on Earth was catastrophically wrong and withdraw while you have a fleet left." Vadir turned to Saraxa, fear now evident. "Is it possible we've been fighting scouts this entire time?" Saraxa nodded. "It explains their tactics. They never committed their full force, studying us and feeding data to their main fleet." A subordinate commander's desperate voice came through. "Supreme Commander, we should consider withdrawal. If these are their capabilities after hiding their true technology, what else do they have?" Vadir's pride refused surrender. "Prepare the Void Catalyst," he ordered abruptly. The Void Catalyst, the Crassid's ultimate weapon, could create a space-time rupture to devastate a planet's surface. Used only on barren moons to intimidate, its deployment on an inhabited world was unprecedented. "Supreme Commander," Saraxa protested, "this violates Imperial directives." "I didn't ask your opinion, Intelligence Chief," Vadir snapped. "The humans have forced our hand. Prepare the weapon." As the weapon charged, alarms flashed in Beck's command center. "Energy readings from the flagship," her science officer reported. "Massive power buildup consistent with space-time manipulation." Beck turned to her communications officer. "Get me Colonel Donovan." Donovan's face appeared, her helmet reflecting the alien ship's lights. "Admiral, Colonel, the flagship is preparing a superweapon. Based on your position and data, what are our options?" "Their systems share architectural principles across the fleet," Donovan replied. "If this weapon uses similar protocols, we can disrupt it, but we'll need to get closer to the flagship." "Too risky conventionally," Beck said, but perhaps not necessary. She turned to her tactical officer. Deploy the Peregrine units. From Earth's warships launched swarms of ultra-maneuverable, single-pilot fighters equipped with advanced stealth and electronic warfare systems. Peregrine units, Beck addressed the pilots, provide cover for Colonel Donovan's team to approach the flagship and neutralize the superweapon. All other vessels engage the Crassid fleet to divert their attention. The battle escalated into a full-scale engagement. Earth's fleet unveiled weapons that stunned the Crassid, gravitational distortion beams, warping hulls, quantum lock targeting, predicting evasions, and adaptive shields countering incoming fire. Donovan's team, supported by Peregrine fighters, sowing chaos, breached the flagship's outer hull near a secondary control node. "We're in," Donovan reported, securing the entry point. "Reed, what do we have?" Reed studied the terminal. "The weapon's isolated from the main network, but there's a physical connection 3 decks up. If we reach it, I can insert a disruption sequence." "Move," Donovan ordered. The team fought through the flagship, facing mounting resistance as Crassid security responded. But the aliens were disorganized, their confidence shattered by Earth's unexpected prowess. On the bridge, Vadir watched in horror as his fleet was dismantled. Ships that had conquered worlds were disabled or destroyed by a species he'd dismissed as primitive. "Void catalyst at 80% charge," an officer reported. "But intruders are nearing the control junction." "Seal all access points," Vadir shouted. "Deploy all security." Saraxa, monitoring the battle, spoke up. "Commander, we've lost. The humans have outmaneuvered us. If that weapon activates, they'll show no mercy." "Silence," Vadir roared. "I won't surrender to primitives." "These aren't primitives," Saraxa insisted. "They concealed their capabilities, let us underestimate them, and sprung a trap we walked into. That's not inferiority." The ship shuddered as alarms blared. "Void catalyst controls compromised," an officer shouted. "Containment field collapsing." "Shut it down," Vadir ordered, panicking. "Emergency protocols." "We can't. The systems aren't responding." At the control junction, Donovan watched Reed complete his virus. "That's it," Reed said. "I've locked them out and initiated a controlled shutdown." "Good work," Donovan replied. "Let's ensure they can't try this again." She placed charges around the control room. Minutes later, her team extracted as explosions rippled through the flagship, neutralizing the weapon's power cores permanently. With their ultimate weapon disabled and their fleet in disarray, the Crassid faced defeat. Beck's voice echoed through their channels. "Your flagship is crippled, your weapon neutralized, your fleet surrounded. You have 2 options: unconditional surrender, with personnel detained until diplomatic arrangements are made, or complete destruction. You have 5 minutes." On the flagship, Vadir slumped in his chair, defeat sinking in. His officers looked to him but found only shock. Saraxa stepped forward. "Supreme Commander, with respect, I invoke Emergency Protocol 7 of the Imperial Code. As Intelligence Chief, I'm assuming command to prevent further loss." She turned to the communications officer. "Broadcast our surrender. All vessels, power down weapons and prepare for boarding." The Crassid's greatest armada had been defeated, not by numbers, but by humanity's strategic deception and preparation. 2 weeks later, Vadir stood in chains before a human tribunal, his uniform stripped of rank, his demeanor broken. Admiral Beck and Colonel Donovan sat among the judges. "Do you understand the charges?" the lead judge asked. Vadir replied dully. "Unprovoked aggression, attacks on civilian areas, attempted use of a prohibited weapon." "And your plea? What does it matter? You've won." Beck leaned forward. "This isn't about winning, Commander. It's about truth and consequences," Donovan added, "and learning from mistakes, on both sides." Vadir looked up. "Both sides? What mistakes did Earth make beyond being too clever in hiding your strength? We should have established clear communication channels, Beck said. We knew of other spacefaring species. Our policy of appearing less advanced may have fueled your misconceptions. The tribunal heard testimony, including from Saraxa, who detailed the Crassids' misjudgments. We thought Earth was a divided world with minimal space capabilities, she said. Our intelligence indicated recent lunar colonization and no significant military beyond low orbit. Yet you encountered something else, a judge noted. Yes, Saraxa admitted. A unified defense system with layered capabilities. Colonel Donovan's scout unit showed technology that should have warned us of greater forces, but Vadir saw it as desperation, not restraint. A classic intelligence failure, fitting data to preconceptions. The tribunal ruled Vadir and most surviving. Crassid would return home under a non-aggression treaty, with reparations and Earth observers in Crassid command structures. As Vadir was led away, he paused before Donovan. One question, Colonel. When did you know you could defeat us? Donovan replied, We didn't know for sure, but we've prepared for generations. While Earth seemed divided and modest to outsiders, we were building, planning, unifying. Your arrival just accelerated our timeline.